The NFC North. Let's kick it off with the Chicago Bears. The Bears have a lot of needs, more so than the last couple of seasons. Last year, going into last season, they were considered a contender. And I think they would have been if not for their quarterback play and a couple other circumstances. They still have Matt Nagy as their head coach calling plays on offense. Bill Lazor's brought in as the offensive coordinator, which brings in some interesting questions. Chuck Pagano, defensive coordinator, performed well last year. So, Mitch Trubisky. Let's just start with Mitch. Number one need is quarterback. And I don't really necessarily mean it as replacing Mitch Trubisky, but I do mean it as at least bringing in somebody to push Mitch Trubisky to make him a better player. And I think that guy's Andy Dalton. I think it's clearly Andy Dalton. If it's not Andy Dalton, it's Nick Foles. They're going to make a trade. I don't think they're going to sign anyone. I mean, Bridgewater makes sense to me in terms of his scheme fit, in terms of a guy that I think fits their team well. Quick decision maker who can execute short passing game. That makes sense. Mitch Trubisky could very well be the starter again because they want to give him the opportunity to start. But bringing in that backup, bringing in that guy to back him up is the big thing. I think just bringing in somebody is smart. So I think it should be one of the three guys. Dalton, Bridgewater, or Foles. You take your pick. Offensive line-wise, they struggled at tackle last year, and that was part of the reason why Trubisky was so bad, because he had no time. Because, edge rushers were just killing the Bears. James Daniels at left guard is solid, good, I would say. Cody Whitehair at center is good. They need to upgrade right guard. I don't think they're going to be a team to pay the right guard, because really Andy Reid teams have rarely spent a lot of money that wasn't coming from their own, and I mean Andy Reid as in Matt Nagy, and I think they come from the same thought of building teams, even though Nagy's not the GM. I'm just putting that out there. I think they'd prefer to draft a guard, and I think they will at some point during the draft. Now, tight end has been talked about now. I think they're fine at tight end. Honestly, I see it. I see why people say it's a need. I actually think receiver is a bigger need than tight end. I think it's a more addressable need. There's not a lot of great tight ends in the league. Trey Burton is a solid tight end, and you brought in Demetrius Harris, who's also solid. You have Adam Shaheen. I mean, that's three tight ends that are decent at the very least. I mean, Shaheen's not great, but he's at least a third tight end in this league. And you have Trey Burton and Harris, who are a good 1-2, and two different types. Burton's more of the athlete. Harris is more of the bigger-bodied type of guy. So I think you're fine at tight end. I understand why you might want to address it. And I could see Tyler Eifert being the move here, with Bill Lazor being the offensive coordinator. But anyone really else for a lot of money doesn't make sense. Like Eifert for a low contract makes sense. Wide receiver, though, you have Allen Robinson. Patterson is your kind of trick kind of guy. Like, he's going to play a running back. He's going to get handoffs. He's a kick returner. Anthony Miller looked good in the slot. But I would like to see a number two, a legitimate number two on the outside for the Bears. I could see them signing DeMarcus Robinson. I could see them signing Nelson Aguilar. I could see them signing one of those guys or drafting someone. I think the interesting thing is, do they try and trade for AJ Green? Because, of course, you have the Lazor connection, and you have a team that is probably wanting to win now. I mean, they've put their assets in such a way that they have pretty much forced themselves to win now. Running back, you're good with Montgomery and Cohen. Defensive line, you are beyond that with Hicks, Goldman, Roy Robertson Harris, and all those guys that you have up front. You're good. Khalil Mack and Leonard Ford at edge is good. You could bring in another guy at edge, but I don't think you have the money. I just don't. I mean, Mack is great, and Floyd is startable player. Kwiatkowski, I think you'll want to bring back, and I think you'll move on from Trevathan at linebacker. Roycon Smith is is developing. He's still not quite there, but he's developing. Kyle Fuller at one cornerback spot, but I actually think corner is a huge need for this team. Outside of Fuller, I don't see anybody that I really love. Buster Screen's that slot guy. Eddie Jackson at safety. Is probably going to get paid more elsewhere. So, safety, you're probably looking at a lower cost option. Geethers from Indianapolis is an interesting one because of the Chuck Pagano connection. But corner. I could see the Bears as a team that are in contention for a number 2 corner, whether that is like a Trey Waynes, a Jimmy Smith, even like a Breland, a Denard, one of these guys that can play number 2 corner at a better level than what they had. So, those are the main needs for the Bears. The Bears do have needs. The Bears, if they could figure out their quarterback situation and they could get one more weapon, a little bit better pass protection, and one more corner, they could be where they were a couple seasons ago. I don't think at this point they will because I think their quarterback spot is still too far off. But they have good players, and it's a matter of producing at this point for the Bears.